Hello everyone, welcome back. We're doing another strength training episode. My name is Nathan. I'll be doing a full body exercise here today. And it's aimed at beginners. So if you're new to working out, it has been a while, don't worry, this is for you. We're gonna touch every single major muscle group in the body. And I'll just be going kind of slow this time so you can just follow along, right? There's two different styles I do it. One is paced, where I'm sticking to the timer, but this is the weekend, we got all the time in the world, so I'll be doing a more guided version today where I walk you through each of the exercises, I show progressions, I show variants. So with that said, let's begin. So I'm gonna start by warming up my body, and you can do this in any number of ways. I like to do jumping jacks, but we can also do press and play. But we can also do knee high knees like this. We can even do, if you have a jump rope and tall ceilings, totally down for that as well. First you got to untangle it. We're just trying to get the blood flowing. We're gonna do a little warm up, a few dynamic stretches. You can do some jump squats. And then let's start with some neck circles. Just gonna go the full range of motion here. In a big circle, you might feel a little popping here, that's okay. The general rule is to avoid pain spots. If you feel pain while doing any of these things, you can skip over it. We'll do some arm circles. We can start forward and small, and work our way bigger and bigger and bigger, and then go the other direction. Now the way I structure these is kind of like a circuit. They're in quad sets, in some cases trisets. And how it works is that there's 4 or 3 exercises that are in close proximity, very little rest, 30 seconds of rest between them, but that's okay because they target different muscle groups. And then we'll repeat that quad set or that triset one time. Do little wrist rotations, little ankle rotations. Again, we're just doing a little bit of a warm up here so we reduce our risk of injury. A lot of people skip the warm up. Not a good idea, especially if you're going heavy. Now everything's on a timer, so when I say do push-ups, you just do as much as you can. If you can't do the whole minute, that's totally fine. Just take a break and jump back in when you're ready. Alternating archer squats, or just archer squats. Don't worry about how low you can go over time. You should notice you'll be able to get lower and lower. Straddle rotations. This one's a good stretch for the back, for the neck. Reach to the opposite ankle, look up, arm up, and then switch. You should feel a stretch all along your back, your sides, your neck, even your hamstrings. All right, now we're gonna do some wrist work. Let's get this angle down so you can see what I'm doing here. Just get on your hands and knees, gently rock forward and backwards. Be careful here. We don't want to injure your wrist. Just give them a little stretch. You can do wrist clocks. And then you can even put your palms up and open and close your fist. Kind of like a false grip. And while we're down here, we're going to be doing cat cows. This is a great exercise. You're going fully into extension, which is arching backwards, and flexion, which is arching forward. Do that a couple times. You can do some lateral flexion too, side to side. Move that neck a little bit. Move that hip, move those hips. And while we're down here, we'll also do some 90-90s. This is good for unlocking hip mobility. So just get down here and rotate those hips like so. Again, just do what you can. If you have low mobility in your hips, don't push it. Maybe you can only get this far, and that's perfectly okay. Doing every exercise, it's really about finding what works for your individual body. Don't look at me and say, that's what I have to do. Whatever works for you. So with that said, let's start with the first exercise. That was the warm-up. Now we're in push-ups. And if you have bars, you can throw them in too. Now, if you can't do push-ups, let's talk about different progressions. If you can't do them yet, try them on your knees. Right? You might need maybe a little pad or something, a little blanket there. Now, if you can't do them on your knees yet, that's perfectly okay too. I want you to find a table or something that can take your weight. And you can go against the table and do it at an angle. That's another way to do it. You could even do it against the wall if you literally have no other option. And after doing that a couple times, then progress to your knees. See if you can do that on your knees. And then eventually to the standard push-up. Now, if you're pumping out 100 push-ups, you can go hard on yourself. Let's do wider push-ups, for example. If that's too easy, well, you can do archer push-ups. There are many variations throughout this program. I'm going to add more difficult variations, and if you stick with me, you'll progress through them too. Don't forget to have a bottle of water handy because you're going to get tired and thirsty for sure. So that was just the first of this quad set. We're going to take a little bit of break and we're going to do some glute bridges. This is a great one. Now, if you're advanced already and you want to turn this into a hip thrust, that's totally fine. I'll start basic. Get on your back, hands to your side, feet kind of nice, comfortably in the middle, not too close to your butt, not too far away. And then lift up your hips and squeeze those glutes. And you can go down again. The squeeze is the key. Now with time, this will become quite easy. If you haven't done it before, just start like this. But your glutes are incredibly large muscles. They can take a lot of weight. So in time, we're going to be adding some weights in our hip thrusts and other exercises that really work the glutes well. You can even hold. If you didn't feel like you worked it enough, just squeeze and hold. It'll burn eventually. Again, it's you versus you. All right, so I made these programs when I had a pull-up bar. As many of you already know, I am currently at my parents' house helping out because they both recently got injured. So unfortunately, I don't have a pull-up bar. So I'm gonna do a workaround. If you don't have a pull-up bar at your house, there are some options. Maybe you have some bands. I really like having a couple of these lying around. These basically just go under your door, and then they usually have some sort of anchor, and then you can attach some sort of attachment. I have this banded thing with a handle. I'm going to use these instead of doing pull-ups. I'm going to do something like a row. But if you can, I would highly recommend investing in a pull-up bar. Because, you know, you can get those doorway based ones for what, 15, 20 bucks? And that's such a great investment for how valuable pull-ups are. They work a lot of muscles at once. So I'm just going to turn this into a row. And again, with bands, you increase the tension based on where you are. So with these rows that I'm doing, I have to back up to increase the tension. Now, if you have the pull-up bar, but you can't quite do a single pull-up yet, what do you do? Well, if you have a band, what I want you to try to do is wrap it around the pull-up bar. Take your thickest band or even multiple bands, wrap it around the pull-up bar, pull it through, and then you can step on it. And you can get assisted pull-ups like that. If that's still too hard, you can also make it more of a row like I'm doing here, or you could do a table row. This is where you take a table and you go underneath it. Now I don't have a table here, so it's hard to demonstrate, but imagine there was a table in front of me. Go under it, have your feet out under it like this, and you pull yourself up. Make sure you pick a sturdy table, of course, like a big, sturdy dining room table. Something that can hold your weight. If you have rings, if you have calisthenics rings, you can set them fairly low and do inverted rows underneath. I don't have my rings here, unfortunately. I'm kind of equipment limited, so we have to be flexible. We have to be creative. So something like bands on a door with the little attachment that I said is probably a good bet. But honestly, like I said, just getting a pull-up bar, it will be like the best fitness investment you can make. So highly, highly recommend. All right. So the next exercise we're doing is lying leg raise / lower. I'll get closer, lower this down. Don't have a cameraman. Get flat on your back and raise your legs. And you'll notice there's a point when your back becomes flat against the floor. That's good. And kind of just tease that spot. Your back will arch a little bit. That's all right. Resist the lowering and go controlled and slow on the raising as well. You don't want to necessarily just use your momentum and fling your legs around. Slow and controlled movements here. You can put your hands under your butt a little bit like I do, if it helps. And this will help a lot with the lower abs. A lot of people, they only do, like crunches and stuff, and they're affecting their upper abs, but they don't get the lower portion. You want to make sure you get all of them. So that was just the first part. Now we're going to do the same thing once again. Repeat those 4 exercises, starting with push-ups. So I'll stay down here. Now again, there's many different types of push-ups. You can do kind of a standard push-up like this. You can make it closer to a diamond push-up. But for now, I'll do standard, and you should too, because we're going to have exercises that affect our triceps and the other muscles that those other variants affect. Keep that core nice and tight. And again, if you can't do these, that's all right. Try the knee push-ups. Try a different variant. You can do the wall push-ups if that's what you can do, that's fine. Everyone starts somewhere. And these push-up bars are entirely optional. What they allow for is a little bit deeper range of motion, because normally, the floor is going to come right up to your face, your chest, but with these you can kind of go a little bit negative, a bit lower, and really work the muscle. All right, glute bridge number 2. Remember, it's all in the squeezing of the glutes. And if this is already too easy for you, just squeeze and hold. Or if you have a flat bench, or maybe even just a couch, you can do a hip thrust if you know how to do those. But again, unfortunately, all my weights, all my equipment, my flat bench, not available to me right now. So I'm going to stick with this for the remainder of the time that I'm here, which is about a week or so. This one's a lot about mind-muscle connection, really feeling the squeeze in your glutes. All right, pull-ups in 15 seconds. We'll do a minute of pull-ups. And again, if you don't have a bar like me, you can turn it into a row or something creative, but we're trying to do something to target the lats, the back, to some extent the arms as well. You might be wondering, how did I select these exercises? Well, I spent about 3 or 4 months looking at various routines by different people, reading the scientific research, finding the ones that felt good, that were easy to progress, generally were compound as much as possible, affected many muscles at once. And I formed it all together to create a time-efficient, highly effective workout. This will take about 40 to 45 minutes. You'll hit every muscle in the body for the most part. I mean, I don't technically do any jaw exercises, but for the most part. All right, lying leg lowers and raises. If you need a break, just stop for a moment, tabletop your legs or put them down, then jump back in when you're ready. Now you might be able to hear some of the dings in the background. I have a timer app that I created to help me pace the workout. You can follow those. There's always a 30-second rest between exercises in a quad set and a minute and 30-second rest between quad sets. So this is where we're going to just take a little extra minute to recover. Recovery is important because then it allows us to exert ourselves again. So we don't want to just bang through everything straight away. I mean, you can, and that's a good probably aerobic workout too, kind of like a HIIT workout. But a little bit of rest goes a long way. And a minute 30 is even on the lower side. So the next exercise I'm going to do is going to be a dumbbell overhead press. Now, I don't have dumbbells, and I don't have an incline bench or any kind of bench to use. So I'm going to do something with these bands over here, and you can do the same. Just get creative, right? If you have a band, there's some different things you can do with it. Let's just find out what I can do here. The idea is just you take your dumbbells and you press like that. So use whatever you have at your house, even if that just means picking up some rocks from outside. But if you do that, since they're probably different weights, do one set with them in one hand and then reverse during the second set. So you even out your strength gains. Unless you just so happen to have two perfectly equally weighted rocks. Well, that's great. So the next one is an incline dumbbell curl. And I do incline because I really want that stretch in the bicep. And if you do an incline curl, you'll notice that, you'll feel it. And it just has a slightly better resistance profile rather than just standing straight up, which, when you're standing straight up, it doesn't really feel like much at the bottom. then it feels like a lot here and then less so at the top. If you haven't done incline for your dumbbell curls, highly recommend. So what I'm gonna do is Bayesian curls here with these bands, where I'm just gonna still get the same stretch. This works pretty well. Now, should you count reps? Should you be tracking how much you're lifting? How many reps should you do? We're doing 6 to 8, 8 to 12, 12 to 15. Well, I've answered all these questions and more in my previous video. You can check out. But that's a good reminder. I should probably put a link to it somewhere to make it easily accessible. But in a nutshell, generally for most people, if you want pretty good gains and you're going for hypertrophy, 8 to 12 reps is a good place to be. If you're really caring about strength, you might lower that a bit, 4 to 8 maybe, but it'll also vary per exercise. All right, next up is squats. So we're gonna start basic here and just do the regular squat, like so. Most people don't need weight first starting out. If you're literally just starting, this will be fine. Your body has weight, and you'll notice it. Now in time, you'll probably want to weight them. You can hold the dumbbell kind of in between you like this, or you can make your legs a bit closer to your squats and hold dumbbells like that. But I'll be changing this up in the future, very soon in fact. I think the next one, I'm going to start doing split squats. And then Bulgarian split squats. And then pistol squats. All right, that's it for that. So next up, we're just going to repeat all that, beginning with the dumbbell overhead press. Don't forget to hydrate if you need. I'm sad my bottle was recently hit by a weight and I can feel the coldness right here. It doesn't keep water as cold anymore. Wah, wah. Hakuna Matata. Dumbbell overhead press. Again, if you have dumbbells, this one's an easy one. Just go up. Bands are interesting, because with the dumbbell, it's the same weight the entire time. Bands get harder. There's more tension as you stretch them. So, yeah, it's an interesting resistance profile. Maybe worth playing with and swapping between dumbbells and bands every once in a while. I'm gonna go a little extra. I feel like I can pump a few more out during this little rest period. Then incline dumbbell curl. Again, for those of you who have a bench and can lean back, I'll just do like this. But for everyone else, make do with what you got. If you just have regular old-fashioned bands like this, you can do it too. Just be creative. Be something like this. Well, I need a lighter band, but you get what I mean. Something like that. That's actually not too bad. You can even put your palms facing down, make it a hammer curl while you're at it. All right, 30 seconds of rest, and then we'll do the squats. Don't forget to stay hydrated. If you already feel like that's too easy, you can go ahead and split squat it. Lean mostly on one leg. The other one's there just for stability. And you feel a lot more burn in one leg. You just want to count the reps though. Make sure you do the same amount in the other leg. What am I on? 7? All right, so that was the last of that quad set. Now we have one more quad set. We'll do 4 exercises, repeat those 4, and we'll basically be done from there. I usually throw in a little bit of a burnout right at the end, but you're definitely more than halfway there. Now, if you have a flat bench at home, this is the time to set it up. Because we're gonna do some exercises that will benefit from the flat bench. The first one though is gonna be not using the flat bench. It'll be the RDL. So get some dumbbells. If you've never done it before, don't worry about having some dumbbells. You won't need them yet. It's a hip hinge exercise. Now you can do it with bands, but as I've said many times on this channel, your hamstrings are quite strong. And it's hard to even get dumbbells heavy enough to really tax them. That's why it really helps to have a gym membership if you want to push these to the max. Whew. So next up, you can do it on the ground or on your mat, no problem at all. But if you do have your flat bench, you can lie on it. We're going to be doing skull crushers. And if you have that bench, that just allows you to put those dumbbells a little bit further than what would be normally ground level. Get that killer stretch in the triceps. Can I do them with these? I'm not sure. Let's try. Kind of. Move this down a little bit. Feel myself sliding. There we go. Kind of adds some lat engagement when you do it this way, but it's not bad. The goal with these is to tax the triceps. Normally you have your elbows pointing up to the sky. You're just lifting those dumbbells. Not bad, actually. Next up, we have lying dumbbell flies. Again, another good candidate for the flat bench because you can go a bit lower than just flat. Now, if you don't have a flat bench, but you do have dumbbells, doing on the ground is perfectly fine. Now, I'm not sure I actually know of a good way to do these with bands on the ground. Maybe we can get creative and use bands and lean over, bent over, like so. It's kind of the opposite motion. What I want is like this. How do you do this? I don't know. This one might require a little extra research, but the idea is it's kind of like a pec deck, but you're on the ground, right? Or you're on your flat bench. Chest up, weights in your hand, bring them together above you. If you don't have dumbbells, I mean, that's not nothing. But it's not much. Anyways, next exercise, really good lat engagement, the bent over row. So if you have a flat bench, again, another use for your flat bench. You want to put one leg on it, one hand, grab your dumbbell and lift up towards your belly button, keeping that back pretty flat. And you should feel it in your lats, right here. You'll feel a little bit in your arms too. Of course, it does take some effort to grip the dumbbell, so you'll feel it there too. But that's the goal. 9 more seconds of that, and then what you want to do is go to the other side or face the other direction and do the other arm like this. Now, if you only have bands, you're gonna have to get creative. What can we do? I think I tried something before where I wrapped it around this leg. Oops. Kind of. And I just pulled. That's not bad. Yeah, you can do that totally. Oh, thanks for the subscribe. Thanks for the follow. Then do the other side. You have to choke up really close to this to feel any strain. But yeah, just get creative with it. Again, you're not competing against anybody here. So second round of RDLs. If you got a gym, if you got dumbbells, go ahead and do this. If you have bands, you can try what I was doing before. It wasn't that bad, but like I said, your legs are huge. Everybody has really big muscles there. So it's just, you know, it can be kind of tricky to tax them meaningfully. Hey, how's it going? Nice to see you back. I haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, you know, it's creative, it's fun when you don't really have many exercise equipment to work with. Oh, my dad's doing a lot better. He's able to sit up a little bit. He's able to stand a little bit, but he's still working on, the hardest part is sitting up. For some reason, there's something about the pressure on his pelvis that he can only stay there for like 7 seconds before he's in too much pain. But he's on the mend. Before he wasn't even able to he was barely able to move. So, yeah, progress. How are you doing? What keeps you so busy? I won't be able to see chat for like 30 seconds while I do this. This one's an interesting variation. It's not exactly skull crushers, but it's not bad. Oh wow, what kind of work do you do? You're doing school and work. That's a big load. Lying dumbbell flies for anyone else who's listening or watching. Again, if you have dumbbells, if you have a flat bench, just go ahead and get down and bring them up. Slow and controlled movements. You can do it on the ground. I think I'll just replace them with, oh, work in tech. Nice. Me too. Well, I used to anyways. Oh God, that's too strong. What is the nature of your work? Are you a software developer? A product manager? A cook? Nice. That's pretty much my dream tech position. I kind of went the STEM direction and got into science, research, software development. But honestly, I think I'm better at strategy. All right, bent over rows, pick a side. You know, I'm honestly not a big fan of this without dumbbells. So you guys do that. I'm gonna turn this into a lateral raise for me. Well, it's stable until it's unstable. Programmers are going to be like the first group of tech to lose their jobs because programming is so it's so orderly, it's mechanistic, it's robotic, and it's something that AI can do really easily. People will be, jobs that are like requiring manual labor or like skills that humans have that aren't easily done, like can't easily be described, like strategy, will last a lot longer. Nurses, for example, will last a lot longer than doctors, except maybe surgeons. But just as from a diagnostic perspective, there's already software that can diagnose illnesses and diseases better than an entire room full of board-certified doctors. Because it's just about seeing symptoms and knowing diseases and symptomology, whereas nurses requires like physical care. Like you have to lift patients, right? To like insert needles. And robotics is several years behind our AI and large language models. Do I? I seem spiritual. Wow. I don't think of myself as spiritual. I think maybe the only thing that I do that people might think is spiritual is meditation. But as I explain in all my meditations, there's actually a strong biological basis for mindfulness meditation. It's rooted in science, and science doesn't even know it yet. All right, last on the list. It's going to be a little bit of a core workout. You want those sexy abs? Well, do these exercises. Starting with oblique V-ups. It's kind of a tricky one to get used to. Try to get on your side. I have to kind of go a little bit to an angle and just do like a crunch. Elbow to thigh. Focusing on using your obliques to crunch up. And then do the other side. And last but not least, a plank. Nice. Well, hey, if you're working in tech, you must be making bank. Just hold this for as long as you can. I'm gonna go for about a minute, but if you can go longer, go ahead and do it. It's you versus you. I can go a bit longer. And there you have it. Whew. The workout's done. Congratulations if you stayed with us the whole time. So you can afford my ticket, right? Oh. Ooh, that was a good workout. I'm sweaty. Actually, one thing I wanted to do is practice my headstands, my handstands. May as well do this right now. I want to go scuba diving in Thailand. There's some really nice reefs out there. Oh yeah, I'll make you all the pizza you want. Pizza and banana bread are my specialties. I'd certainly do that. I'm just practicing the lift right now, getting up there. And then I'm gonna do a hold. I'm gonna practice this for like 2 weeks or so, probably every day. And then I'll try taking away the wall. I feel like I'm already gaining strength, having done this like 2 or 3 times. Oh, I'm not good, but I could learn. And you know, I'm a really good cuddler. I give really good hugs. That should count for a lot. You know, a lot of people are really bad at hugs. They give you those lame side hugs, you know? They come up to you and they like, what? That's not a real. Hey, well, what? Your wish is my command. Oh. few more of these. Then I might do a frog stand. Wow, that's really great. One thing I notice is I have a kind of like run, or a little leaping dance. Yeah, they're not bad. I just like having fun. I'd be down to do whatever. I'm sure we'd have a blast. Oh. Oh. I think lastly I'm going to do some frog stands. Well, I love the outdoors. So I want to do outdoors, but that's a big if. It really depends on the mosquitoes. And other bugs and biting things. But if it's just a beautiful outdoor place with sunshine and good weather, then outdoor sounds perfect to me. What do you prefer? A full day? Well, I don't know about a full day. Yeah, that sounds great. Well, wake up, eat breakfast, maybe start with a light aerobic exercise. You said you had a pool, right? Do some pool laps. Do a workout in the morning, some strength training, then just have fun all the rest of the day. But what are your goals with exercising? Because that changes everything. Are you trying to get ripped? Are you just trying to lose weight? Are you trying to tone? Are you trying to be a mountain climber? A bodybuilder? Your goal shapes the workout. Do you care about flexibility? Well, strength. Sounds good to me. Oops, can't do that. I guess it'd have to be in front. Yeah, it seems like we'll just play it by ear. What's going on here? haven't been in a pool in a long time. Do you have an Olympic-sized swimming pool? Well, I bet I can do more than you. Let's find out. I just went for a walk. My area around here is so beautiful. I almost forgot. Like, I knew it was beautiful, but then I was like, I'm gonna start walking around more because I haven't had as much cardio in. And man, the leaves are just starting to turn. I love nature. I hope we can do a lot of nature in Thailand. Nature is lit. And we should also do some meditations. Do you meditate much? If you don't, you totally should. Well, it's your pool, your rules. Probably without, you know? You don't need that. Go au naturel. I would be naked right now if the world was okay with it. I'm so sweaty, my clothes are just trapping the sweat against my body. Yeah, I used to do that all the time. Well, not in a pool, but in the ocean. Sign me up. Let's do it. November. In the meantime, I'm going to continue my regularly scheduled programming and do a meditation. Well, there's a first time for everything. I think it's forward in our culture. Presently, maybe. Some people will see it that way. But to people who are open-minded, not at all. In the last community that I lived in, nudity was perfectly okay. I mean, we had a rule that, like, okay, if you're going to be totally butt naked, you know, maybe put a towel down so your private parts aren't, you know, on the couch, on our chairs. But, you know, if you're shirtless as a man or a woman, doesn't matter. I think what people are concerned about today is, you know, there's creepers out there, you know. But if it's just your friends, your family, people you love and trust, it's no big deal. If it's not against the rules, I'm down. Especially in a hot place. So the community I was in, it was in Hawaii. So you can imagine, pretty warm. And I imagine Thailand is also pretty warm. So yeah, I feel like that's perfectly appropriate. Now, if it's in Alaska in the winter, yeah, you might want some clothes on. I won't judge you. And I hope no one does. I think people should be able to wear what they want. Let me know if you can't hear me. Move this to the side. Thanks for letting me know. So why don't we do a quick meditation while I have your attention? We can just do 5 minutes. Yeah, why not? Live free. In New England, we have a state whose motto is, live free or die. Amen to New Hampshire. I don't think it's up to me. It's just about your own willpower, your own courage. I'm always happy to support you. I like helping everybody. That's why I offer all these different live streams doing strength training, mobility, flexibility, mindfulness, connection, perspective. I live to serve. Well, first, I would invite you to sit down in a comfortable and upright position, to close your eyes, and train your mind. I'm not kidding. Mindfulness meditation is powerful for confidence. In fact, as an exercise to train the mind, it's powerful for a number of things. It can help make it so that all the sensations you feel are richer. It reduces stress. Even moments of intimate pleasure can be expanded to be far more intense and more pleasurable if you really just pay attention to them. And so that's what I'll show you now. A simple practice. It's called mindfulness of the breath. What I want you to do is focus on your breath wherever it feels strongest to you. Right? When you take a deep breath, where do you feel it? Is it in the tip of your nose? Is it in your throat? Do you feel it in your chest? Wherever it feels strongest to you, I want you to place your awareness on that region, the spotlight of your mind, right there. Follow your in-breath all the way through the out-breath. In and out, in a continuous now. Oh, absolutely it does. This is a family-friendly channel, but yes, if you are engaging in intimate relations with another being, and you want to improve those relations, both physically, sensorially, and connection-wise, I invite you to meditate. If you want more stamina, I invite you to meditate. And the most basic practice is the one that I'm teaching here. Just focus on your breath. And this trains your awareness. Now you'll notice you'll often get distracted by other thoughts. And this is the second part of the practice. There's 3 things total. The first being awareness, or your ability to focus on one thing that you set your mind to. And the second is noticing when you're distracted, because it's going to happen. You'll find yourself thinking about the trip to Thailand, or what you're going to eat for dinner tonight, or your homework, or the argument you just had with your best friend. Distraction is inevitable. So the second part is noticing when you're distracted. I'm sure it can, because your mind is central to everything. So improving your mind will mean a wholesale improvement on your entire life. So like I said, the practice of mindfulness of the breath is to focus on your anchor point, in this case, your breath, as long as you can. And then invariably noticing that you've gotten distracted, you're thinking about something else. And that trains your meta-awareness. That is, your awareness of what you're aware of. It helps you notice. The more you practice this, you notice more quickly that your mind has wandered. And then the last part is executive control, your ability to redirect your attention back to your breath. Those 3 components are what we're training here primarily. Well, here, we could do that right now. We can practice with your very question in mind. If you're listening, for all my viewers, pick a part of your body that you're interested in. Maybe it's an itch. You got a mosquito bite earlier. Or maybe it's your chest. Just pick any spot on your body, it doesn't matter. And I want you to drop everything else and just focus your attention on that part of the body. Greet it with curiosity. Look at it as if you've never looked at it before. If you can see it with your eyes, you can open your eyes and peer at it. If you can't see it with your eyes and you can only feel it, maybe it's on your back, that's fine too. What does it feel like? You'll notice if you really pay attention to things, if you really have an attitude of openness, that you can unlock a whole new world of experience and sensation. So if you were someone who picked a niche, for example, you'll notice that by giving your itch your full, unconditional, loving attention, that it feels less itchy, doesn't it? If it's a pain in your body, you'll notice that if you open your arms to it, if you cease any resistance, any contraction, and you just open your arms and your heart to this experience, the pain will go down. Hoodies are optional, but the more clothing you wear, the more sensations you'll notice on your body, and that can be distracting. But it's neither good nor bad. For example, I noticed this wire running down my body, touching me at various points. It's kind of tickly, actually. But that's another one. If normally you're very ticklish, but you mindfully investigate a spot where you're normally ticklish, and you don't resist it, you just accept it, you'll find it's not so ticklish. Are you focused on that one spot on your body? Trace your mind around that spot. Get really intimate with it, right? You can get down to a microscopic level and feel with your mind every little curve, every rise and fall of your skin. Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it contracted or expanded and loose? Well, this is a very advanced technique. In a way, it's kind of like jumping into the deep end of the pool without having the foundational practice mastered yet. I would invite you to consider first starting with mindfulness of the breath. Because this is the practice that helps hone our minds. It sharpens our minds so that we can stay focused on what we want to stay focused on. Well, that's a very particular region to focus on. But you can do that. Any part of your body can be the anchor. So if you want your nipple to be the anchor, pick one nipple. Technically you could do both, but it seems like you're a beginner and it's easier to start with just one. And cover that nipple with all of your attention. Like I said, whatever feels comfortable to you. If you want to take it off, then go for it. It might be easier to focus on it with less stuff touching your body, and you can focus more on that one spot. But your goal here is just that simple. Just focus on that one spot. These other questions you're asking, these are just thoughts appearing in your mind. I invite you to notice them. You don't need to try to change them or resist them or attach yourself to them. Mindfulness is about letting go of control. It's about being open to experience. It's about ease. Holding on to what? You mean holding your attention onto that spot? Yeah, wherever your anchor is, whatever object it is, keep your attention onto that spot. Technically, your anchor could be your big toe. The only reason why we choose our breath is because, one, our breath is a fairly prominent activity that is easy for most people to notice. It's not that easy necessarily to notice like your shin or something. It's not really moving. And your breath is always now. You're always breathing and it's always now. So it anchors you to the present moment. But if you want to pick something else, that's perfectly fine. That's all right. That's okay. All these thoughts that are coming up for you, Louise, just notice them. And if you can, try not to attach yourself to them. if you find yourself needing to know the answer, or wondering if you're doing it correctly, or is this working? These are kind of resistance contractions that we don't really want to embody here. The mission, the point of this practice is to stay focused on that anchor point. And then whenever you get distracted, you're going to notice, oh, I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about that. Whatever it is, just notice it. And then gently nudge your attention back to your anchor point, whether that's your breath or your nipple or your big toe. And just repeating that over and over again is the practice. Yeah, well, I invite you to loosen up a little bit. You can wiggle your body a little bit. If you know where the tension is in your body, you can put your mind temporarily on that spot and let that muscle relax. Right? You can usually use the spotlight of your mind to travel along your body from head to toe and just relax the muscles that you come across. And then return to your anchor point. The key here is just this focusing on your anchor and then invariably getting distracted, noticing when you're distracted, and gently pulling your attention back to your anchor. By doing this over and over and over again, it's like lifting weights, right? You do the same reps with the same form over and over. You're strengthening your brain. You're strengthening the connections in your brain surrounding focus, meta-awareness, and executive control. Yeah, it might feel like effort in the beginning, but very quickly you'll probably find that it becomes quite peaceful and quite easeful. And I really want you to try to embody this attitude of ease and serenity. Because mindfulness practice isn't about trying to control things. It's not really about the technique. It's about the attitude. Stop trying to resist things or control things. That's the stuff that causes tension inside of us. That's really wonderful. With time, this practice will spill over in your day-to-day life, and you'll notice less tension in your life. You'll notice more peace, calmness. You'll notice you can stay focused better, and you notice when you're distracted quicker. It's simply science. Well, it's kind of funny because, of course, this practice is thousands of years old. But it actually is very scientifically valid. It aligns with everything I know about neuroscience and anatomy, physics, biology. And that's why even me, as a former NASA scientist, embraces this practice. That's the power of mindfulness. Louise, you may not realize it yet, but you have a superpower, and I am showing you how to unlock it. And you have no idea how far it goes, but it is phenomenal. It truly is. And that's why I meditate for an hour every day. Well, the mind is very powerful, remember? Your central nervous system is at the root of everything in your body. All your feelings, all your thoughts, all your sensations, they pass through the mind. And so if you learn to control your mind, sharpen your mind, you can radically change your life for the better. You mean from like a biological, like anatomical perspective? Does the why even matter? You already know that it did. Do you really need to know that it was the ATP plus the mitochondrion that interfaced with the blah blah? The nerds can figure that stuff out. All I can say is on a high level, meditating is using your brain taking advantage of the brain's capacity to change with repeated stimulation. It's the same with anything. That would be great. In fact, I invite you to join my meditations because what I have just shown you is the tip of the iceberg. There are so many different practices and techniques that I'm happy to offer. I would pick a different one. Well, it's kind of like, do you want to do a bicep curl with the same arm forever? No, you probably want to do a bicep curl with the other arm and do other muscles, right? Like, you don't want to focus on just one area forever. Variety is the spice of life. Well, maybe in Thailand. If you're still with us, I want you to take the last few minutes of this meditation and just drop all effort entirely. Stop trying to do anything and just be open to whatever comes your way. And if you can, try not to latch onto any one thought or idea. You want to try to not go down to rabbit holes and just stay in the present, experiencing everything. What we feel, our bottom on the chair or the bed, what we smell, taste, hear. Cling to nothing. Just be relaxed and open. And you might notice you're getting distracted as well. Again, that's perfectly okay. Just pull your attention back to the full expansive view of your conscious experience. And lastly, I want you to think of 3 things that you're grateful for and why you are grateful for them. I am grateful for X because, and really feel into that gratitude. And with that, thank you for joining the meditation. I do these every day, and I recently actually divided them into different difficulty levels, or so basically beginner, intermediate, and advanced. The idea being that some of you have heard my beginner explanation many times, and you just want a little bit more spaciousness to practice without me talking so much. And so I invite you in that case to come to the intermediate or advanced sessions, where I'll talk about a bit more complex, a bit more nuanced techniques in meditation. And if you're still just getting started, you haven't done meditation at all, or just it's been a while, then I invite you to come to the beginner series, where I will explain from a scientific perspective why meditation is incredibly valuable, and I'll walk you through all the steps to get started in your journey. Now also today, I'm going to be doing some live streams in the evening. And tonight I'll be doing a flexibility routine that I devised because I want to work towards my forward folds and my splits, the middle split and the front split. So if you want to get more flexible, join me. That'll be at 7 to 8 p.m. And then I'll be doing another mindfulness session from 8 to 9 p.m. Now this one's listed as an advanced one, but it'll really just depend on who shows up. If you're a beginner and you want more practice, that's totally fine. Just come on by and I'll tailor the class for the people that show up. And then I'll probably stay on a little bit after to hang out. Just like now. Does anybody want to share their experiences? Or does anyone have any questions? Hey, yeah, no worries. Totally. So yeah, it looks like that's going to be a wrap for this. I'm going to take a shower and clean up a bit because I'm still sweaty from that workout earlier. Yeah, go ahead and just hit me up on Discord. So thanks everyone for joining. I have not, and that would be interesting. There's nothing technically wrong with adding stimulation. Any moment of life is appropriate for meditation. So you can meditate during a rave, right? You could meditate while you're scuba diving or while you're undergoing surgery. There's no one moment when meditation is better or not better, or appropriate and not appropriate. So if there was stimulation, in fact, I think there are ancient texts that talk about meditation while engaging in various sexual activities. The Kama Sutra, for example, I wouldn't be surprised if there's something like that in there. I've not read it myself, but seems like you're really about that. Yeah, you know, I'm down to try everything once, but yeah, there's technically no reason why you can meditate while you play pickleball, right? There's no reason why that wouldn't be an appropriate place to meditate. I think as a beginner, it could be quite distracting. The reason why we typically meditate with our eyes closed, you know, in a quiet space, is because it's easier to, it kind of turns down the dial of sensations. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're getting really turned on in your meditation, that can be distracting, right? It might kind of detract from the point of meditation. So I think all those things are good, but maybe they'd be best separated as a separate activity until you have a good baseline for what meditation is all about. And then maybe you can step by step bring in some more fun stuff like that. Well, you're welcome. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you around.